have Guy Maevsky.
Maevsky.
Thank you, Maevsky. Before starting in his own legal practice, Guy has held positions of head of legal at several crypto projects, including Coinmatics, Crypto Copy Trading, OpenLedger, DEX. Also, Guy held the deputy head of legal position at Dating Group, one of the major players in online dating. Guy has been working with regulation of crypto since 2017. He is a frequent speaker at DeFi and NFT events such as this. Welcome, Guy. Please go ahead with your presentation. Enjoy your session.
Yeah, hi everyone. Nice to meet you. So today we'll talk about NFTs. We'll talk about copyrights and legal aspect. We'll not go deep here. Also, we'll not go to the regulatory side. We'll not go to anti-money laundering. So it will be some kind of general overview of copyright issues for NFTs. So first, let's classify, first of all, NFTs just to understand what we are doing with from intellectual property perspective. So there's two major types of NFTs. NFTs without underlying assets. So generally it's NFTs that are valuable by itself. So it can be some kind of collectible NFTs, or it can be some kind of objects in metaverses. It can be some collectible cards. It can be some, for example, some objects available by itself. And secondly, it's NFT having underlying assets. So it can be linked to underlying assets, that is digital artwork, it can be physical artwork, and it can be also some kind of tokenization asset that is linked even not to artwork. For example, it can be some shares, it can be some real property, it can be cars, it can be some goods that will need to be tracked. So here we'll not talk about it because it's not like our topic so far. So here we'll concentrate on two main issues: NFT is that available by itself, and NFT having its underlying asset linked to artwork. So what do you own basically when you buy an NFT? You own an NFT, just it. And if we talk about anything else, it greatly depends. It greatly depends on many factors. So, and first, I would like to cover here NFT just without any underlying asset. So let's go to basic of intellectual property law of copyright. So when your creation can be protected by copyright. So here it will be some kind of generalization. I will generally speaking, because every country can have its own differences, can have its own regulation. So here we'll talk about general approach that is covered by Berne Convention for intellectual property. So general here, first, it should be original work. It should be created by you. It should not be like you copy pasted someone artwork and would like to protect by yourself. No, it will not work. Copyright protect only original work when you are an author. And also it should have a tangible form. Also, it can vary from country to country, but generally it should have a tangible form. So ideas would not be protected by copyright. So generally as a tangible form, we can say that code, object code, source code, it can be a tangible form. So for example, if your NFT as well itself, it can be artwork or collectible card itself. So generally, it's a piece of code that was put on blockchain that have its own some hashes, links, and some metadata of creation, of create, and so on and so forth. So generally, it's fixed in code. Also, it can be fixed in digital form, for example, drawing or music. So here it mostly then it will be linked to some underlying asset. And the general copyright rule that your creation will be protected from the moment of creation. So here we can find some pitfalls regarding territory of creation. For example, it's currently it can be some possible discussion for if, for example, an object created in a metaverse, how it will be protected? However, we'll still assume the general rule. So it's protected from the moment of creation. And even in the metaverse, it will be have a tangible form, at least code of this object integrated to this metaverse. So also, as you may know, copyright, intellectual property grant to owner or creator exclusive rights. So it can be some general rights, right to display, perform, right to use, right to create derivative works, right to license, right to sell. So it's a general well-known. So even have right to destroy, right to sell, I will understand, right to, for example, modify it or do anything else. Also, you can have a right to claim your authorship. And the second moment, it can be even some exotic right, for example, right to display within decentralized metaverse or digital world. Just only display there. You cannot display it in the real world, but you can display in metaverse. Or, for example, right to tokenize it. And let's move to, so in case of NFT, that it's an object itself, it's a bit clear. So generally, if you're a creator or you purchase it from creator, you will have ownership of it, you will have exclusive rights in it, and it depends just on the scope of the agreement or a smart contract. Let's go deeper regarding NFT that has underlying artworks. So what scope of IP rights do you have? So generally speaking, I think many times when I can use Doggy Mem in my work. So here is the best solution. I decided to use it. So here it's not very well defined. So you can either have ownership in underlying asset artwork, or you can have limited license in underlying artwork. And in majority of cases, like 95%, you'll have just limited license. So if we go a bit in theory of NFTs, for example, so usually the object that is linked to your NFT, it can be a real object like the only copy, or it can be some kind of digital certified copy. So NFT in line with your underlying artwork can form a digital certified copy, but it's still a copy, and you cannot, and you will not be an owner of underlying artwork. So, and how you can know what kind of right do you have? So first of all, if you create it from or purchase it from marketplace, first of all, check terms of marketplace. Terms of service will state definitely what kind of rights do creator have, do collector have or purchaser have, and what kind of rights, and it will be separation of rights in NFT and rights in underlying artwork. In the majority of cases, you will just have very limited license in underlying artwork. For example, if to summarize some terms of major NFT marketplaces, you will have right to use it, or right to display it, or to perform, depending. It will be like graphical artwork, or it will be musical artwork. And here and display and perform in very limited cases. For example, for personal use, to use it in some metaverses, usually it's like kind of trend to put possibility to use it in metaverses, because like NFTs commonly used there. And also it will be a big couple, like a big bunch of prohibition. Like you cannot tokenize it, you cannot sell it, you cannot commercialize it, you cannot exploit it, you cannot use it for competing with creators, competitors, and so on and so forth. You cannot put it to advertisement, you cannot use it in movies and any other stuff. So generally, if you check terms, like it's a kind of funny moment, NFT marketplace will have more rights in this artwork than you as a purchaser. So that like the majority, the biggest scope of rights for sure will creator have, and the second place it will marketplace, not you as a purchaser, and you will be on the last place having just unlimited rights that in this underlying artwork. Also, scope of IP rights can set in smart contract, but sure, you need to be really careful auditing the smart contract. It can set some rights, and in smart contract, it can be set would you own underlying object, or would you just have a limited license? And like some kind of exotic for crypto and all cryptasic, physical contract. So generally, you can assign a physical contract with a creator and put all the rights there. Yeah. So here, like if summarizing it, creator have majority of rights in underlying artwork. You will just usually will have a limited license, and for sure for you terms of service is like essential document to check. And also for you it's like kind of advice for you, it's better first to check terms of service and afterward to go and make a purchase. And as soon as you have generally if you have NFT as a main asset without any underlying asset, generally you will have all exclusive rights so far. Also, in some kind of NFTs and smart contracts, and can be embedded rights to receive royalties from any further sales. So it's also right. It will be right for creator, and also even if you have exclusive rights in underlying artwork, you don't have right to claim ownership on the object unless it will be seized by the author. So you cannot say that you're a creator of it. So and you will need to, in any case, when you talk about who is a creator, you need to say who is the real creator of it. So let's go deeper. Virtual worlds, virtual environments. So here we'll go really briefly just to treat your curiosity. So what to do with this in the real world. So generally, even not touching NFTs, many lawyers, disputing thinking. So how to treat objects in some metaverses. So here, the same general rules should apply. But currently, I'm not sure that court judges will be really happy to apply classic rules for regulation of metaverses because, like for some periods, all electronic communication, it was hard but it was like really before when judges refused to consider it as a proper evidence in the case. So here, how do you deal with the real world? So just to try to apply real copyright world. So the main approach, so as soon as we do not have some specific regulation, we'll apply the most similar regulation to the object. And for you, what jurisdiction will govern it? Generally, it will govern by jurisdiction of operator of this metaverse. For example, you are sitting in Europe, a metaverse operated by a United States company. So generally, it's a general rule. It should be applied regulation for United States. However, Europe, majority of like European regulators and other world regulators will provide you possibility to apply your country jurisdiction for this metaverse, for this relation, because you're a consumer. And consumer protection goes a bit higher than just simply protection of software. And how to protect it? Currently, nobody knows it. So if we talk from perspective of real world, it just to try to apply real world instruments. However, there is not enough practice to consider what regulation and what rules will be applied to intellectual property created in virtual world. So generally, as soon as create your avatar or you created some skins, some objects, build some houses in metaverses, create cars, definitely, generally you will have exclusive rights in this creation, but also you need to check terms of service. Some metaverses can, in the terms of service, will grant you only license for your creation, and you will have the limited license and you will have the set dog. But some metaverses will grant you ownership for your creation. You will have a strong dog, and you will be obliged to provide limited license to this metaverse operator. So, and also some funny stuff and some division between copyrights and other rights. For example, let's talk about Mona Lisa. So Mona Lisa have embedded two objects at least. First object is like physical painting, like a physical object. You can buy it from Louvre, but you will not get copyright. And the second object embedded in Mona Lisa creation, it's a copyright. So generally, according to international rules, nobody have copyright over Mona Lisa image. It's in public domain because it's from some countries 50 years or 75 years from the moment of death of creator. As soon as it passed, it goes to public domain. So here, if we talk about image of Mona Lisa, it's in the public domain. It belongs to nobody, just image. But picture, like as a physical object, painting as a physical object, belongs to Louvre. So here, generally, you can try to create, for example, an NFT over Mona Lisa image. It will not give you something of the value because anyone can do it. But nobody can claim that you violate copyright. However, if we talk, for example, other image that is not in public domain, for example, you decided to canonize some painting that still under copyright. So as soon as you create NFT over this either physical image or this digital image, you violate this copyright, and creator of this image can fill a notice. For example, in the United States, it will go under DMCA law and DMCA Act. And service provider, for example, NFT marketplace would have to take down this. And the same like precaution for a buyer, for collector. So be sure that you at least take some action to verify is it original creation of a creator or seller or not, a just violation of copyright, because as soon as the violation of copyright, you can still receive takedown notice, and afterwards you'll just sue your seller, your creator, to return money for NFT and to ask him to indemnify you from any suits from original creator and copyright holder. So I think we can go to questions if you have, and I really hope that you will have some questions to me. Hope that it will be informative for you, because it's hard to explain copyright and some relation between NFT and copyrights in 20 minutes. However, I tried. So let's go to questions. Stop sharing. Oh, it's me again. Nice to see me again. Okay, let's from the, oh, I see that it was votes. Okay. Like the most voted. If the smart contract which will execute the legal terms is not constituted the document description of the right, will not be able to read. What takes precedence? So general stuff. Let's start from the basics. If you purchase it from marketplace, so terms of service will take precedence. If you have written communication with your creator and you just purchase directly via email or via messenger, so you will just simply can add this emails as an evidence of scope of right granted, because generally in a smart contract it will not written that it supersedes all communication. So generally it just refer to all the agreement you had in the document. Oops, looks like life again. So hope it's clear. So generally, either terms of service, written contract, or all the agreements in written form, emails, messengers, messages, as a possible evidence to see description, scope of rights, and also put if you would still go to the smart contract, there is possibility like attribute if ownership transferred or not, like over underlying asset. So next, let's go from the beginning. So the NFT has a right, but they're legally enforceable But are they legal enforcement in most jurisdictions? My worry is cross-border assets and their risks, such as if it is recognized. So, it's hard to talk about enforceability of rights embedded in NFTs because we do not have enough practice to say that courts are widely accepting NFTs as a proof of ownership, as a proof of license. Here, it's a really new creation, and regulators do not know what to do with it, and courts are not aware how they will do. There is no practice. So generally, as a general rule, we expect that it should be enforceable because it's legal, it's followed by some legal rules, it's based on some legal contracts. So generally, it's absolutely legal asset. But first, even not with cross-border, but within like the one jurisdiction, it can be problems of recognizing by a judge that it's a real object, that it can state some rights. So its purpose like some kind of educating of judicial system. For sure, in maybe in 1 year, it will be clear, it will be not so complicated. In cross-border, in cross-border, even in classic world, it can be have some problems and difficulties because even, for example, for judge, it's hard to decide on the case based on governed by a law of different country. So here, even it will be have some, for example, sense to put in marketplace terms reference not to court but to arbitration and between to use some arbitration section between creator and collector, for example, because it's more enforceable according to arbitration conventions and it's more easy enforceable. So generally, for sure, I hope that it should be enforceable and because it's fully legal. However, even for cross-border transaction, cross-border cases, it's more complicated for ordinary courts. Hope answered and hope it's clear. So have some time. What's the best mechanism to combine more contract legal framework in any country? So, what is the best? There is no best mechanism. So generally, in all DeFi stuff and NFT stuff, I can say that here there is no one single right answer. As well, there is no single wrong answer. So here, I assume it's like some kind of risk model, and I consider current standing like regulatory framework for DeFi and NFTs as a risk model. So just process and consent. So, and the best to combine smart contract with contract legal framework. First, just if you're talking about marketplaces, just make sure that your terms of service is in compliance with law, and just make sure that your marketplace is followed any, for example, all necessary anti-money laundering stuff, because if the court finds while hearing your case that you are in breach of anti-money laundering regulations, it will not be very pleasant for you. Also, to combine a legal framework, just smart contracts. It's currently all the exotic stuff for courts as this the same as NFTs DeFi. So I know cases. I heard about cases and when judges consider a smart contract, it's a real contract, and it will go so. It will go that it's a real contract. However, it sometimes should pass for example, education of the judicial and legal system. So generally, try to cover rights the same as it's covered in your jurisdiction legal framework. Is any country promoting it? Cannot say it. It's depends on country from country because some countries make it good marketing of it. For example, we can talk in Europe. Estonia started to issue crypto licensing from 2017, and it's based on anti-money laundering framework. But afterwards, the whole Europe adopted AML5 directive except Cyprus, and everyone has the same framework. And for example, Lithuania, countries near Estonia, have the same framework in anti-money laundering sphere, but it's not regulated by license. And Estonia has the same framework but licensed. the same rules, absolutely. For example, for these two countries, I see Lithuania, and I think that I need to go.
Yes. We'll wrap up now, but thank you so much for your insights. This is an important part of DeFi and definitely NFTs because, of course, it's growing in populance and popularity, and we all need to know where we stand. So thank you so much for your insights, your presentation, your talk. And guys, remember to tweet. Go out onto the Twitterverse and share, if you enjoyed the event, follow Guy. And remember to use the hashtag DeFiConf2021.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.